What is up, guys? We got another Yupcast episode. We are episode 7. Siete. And we got me, Marcos. We got
Marlene. She's back. Hello.
Johnny Boy.
Yes, sir.
Jacob. And we got two special guests today. Not the Island Boys, but literally the City Boys. Nehemiah and Joel Martinez. The Joel.
Hey.
But yeah, well, we are very glad to have you guys back. They came all the way from LA. We talk about Joel on this podcast very often, you know. We're like, yo, Joel's like one of the founding fathers of Yup and stuff like that, right? And we finally got him in the house. Joel, what do you have to say for yourself?
I just want to say I'm proud of all of you guys. I've seen you guys grow. Like last time I was here, from like seeing you guys now, you guys probably don't notice the growth that you guys had, but I see it all, and I'm like proud of all you guys. I'm proud of the guys behind the scenes, behind the cameras. Literally, JC.
Oh, shout out to JC.
Shout out to
Izzy right now.
Izzy,
behind
Shout
these
out
cameras.
to Izzy. He's wearing a Dory hat right now. He looks fire. But I just want to say I appreciate you, Izzy, and all the work that you put in editing. You know, you the G, bro. You the GOAT.
No. JC edits. Thank you for your edits.
They both edit. Hey, sound
They both edit.
Sound and video, bro.
They're like
Dynamic duo.
I was about to say dynamic duo. That's really good.
They're like Paul and Silas, bro. Straight up.
Paul and Silas. No,
Bro,
Paul.
put a Paul in silence picture of your JC right now. Right now. He's like, what am I to you? What am I? No, but for real, like, yo, so, like, we started Yup, and, like, as we're starting Yup, we had to cram all these things, you know, with Joel. Like, he actually helped in the few last weeks he had with us. And, you know, we launched Yup. He was still here for it, and then we had to go take him to LA. We had such a great time in LA. Bro, let's talk about that trip real quick. Yo, when we were saying our goodbyes to Joe, we were like all tearing up, bro. We were having a good time in LA. But yeah, bro, kick us off, bro.
Kick us off? Like what we did out there?
What was the first thing we did when we got there?
I actually do not remember, bro.
I will tell you. We stopped at a gas station,
Okay.
right? And Joe said, hey, there's this fire food.
It was some.
Oh yeah,
And we get there, we expected like hella good food, and we're like,
This boy stopped at like a gasoline shop, bro. I'm like, what?
it was like an EXO. And we're like, bro, where we eating at?
bro. Where did we go after that?
We went to Panera.
Panera.
Even
Oh yeah.
worse.
Panera go crazy.
Get that. This is not like a paid ad, but get that Chipotle like melt.
I know,
Like,
that
that is
is
so
good.
good. That is
It's
so
fire.
good. Like y'all need to get that.
The lemonades are good.
And the lemonades are good. Like they have like that healthy stuff. So
Their
go
mac
there.
and cheese is alright. I feel like it's not all that.
I've never had their mac and cheese, but
It's not that good.
yeah, I'm delicate about my mac and cheese though.
But
They
that
have the
was-
no crumbles on it.
I feel like it's low key
Yeah.
overpriced. Not gonna lie.
And then after that, what did we do? We picked up the Tesla,
We picked
the
Yes.
Model Y. We had a blast in that
Marcos
car.
has a Tesla now, though. Shout out to
Oh,
Marcos.
shit.
Marcos just had to buy it
Yo.
from LA.
We just had to buy that Tesla
Right,
from LA.
exactly.
Thank you to David Dobrik. Not just funny.
Not again.
Not again.
leave.
No. But
Wait,
yeah,
David
I mean,
Dobrik's calling me.
overall, that trip. How did that whole trip like impact how you like stayed out there? Like, did you want to like not like stay here? Like,
Honestly, you guys coming and dropping me off was harder than me going there by myself and just like already like preparing my mindset to like go there. But like having you guys drop me off was like it hurt me more because I was like they're right in front of me. Like we literally said bye in the Airbnb that you were staring at. The Airbnb was pretty fire. It had like a
hey,
kitchen.
it was a good beer.
It had like so many rooms in there.
Shout out JC.
Shout out for finding that Airbnb. Whoever did that. I think
Jason.
that
I
was
don't remember.
was
I
you?
think it was JC.
It was probably a joint effort.
We were both like, looking at Airbnbs.
Yeah, but it was like super hard. I remember that day that we were just like in a circle, just the guys were just praying for me. I was wanting to bawl my eyes out so bad, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna not cry, bro. But you guys were just praying for me, and like, you know, it was kind of just like me like going into a new season. And usually when you go into a new season, it's super hard. And it's like that transition, like the enemy can like attack you so much, like he can attack your mind with like depression, anxiety, doubts. Like you're even supposed to go there, because that's kind of like what I was doing. I was like, am I really supposed to go here? I feel so anxious. Like I don't want to drive like the hour that it was away from the Airbnb. Like I was already feeling like super depressed, like super like, dang, I'm leaving my like the whole Yup. Like I felt like I did so much, and then like I'm just gonna leave and just like be remotely helping you guys. But even that didn't feel like I was doing enough.
Nah, you were doing plenty.
Yeah.
You guys don't know. Joel actually runs our accounts online. He runs our TikTok, which is already at like 56,000 followers.
56, yeah.
Because consistency is key, and Joel is behind that. So props to you, bro. Thank you for that help.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that trip overall, bro. As soon as like you left, like it was like a whole different vibe. Like yo, we're like yo, Joel's really leaving. But I mean, we're like, yeah, we're gonna get to see him. Conference came by. We had you here at conference.
Shout out Marcos.
And you're back now.
He flew me out, guys. Spirit Airlines.
Spirit Airlines, bro. If, if you're a true friend, you fly Spirit Airlines.
No.
How much was the ticket? I was like $98.
Something like that, round trip.
Yeah, it was round trip. I had like one little bag that I tried to fit everything inside. It was just like I was like sitting on it, so I couldn't like go. I was like, this thing need to fit. Like I need to bring these.
How was that flight?
Joe had faith, bro.
How was the flight? Usually Spirit Airlines has a lot of turbulence, like when we're going down, like when we're like arriving. So like when I was sleeping and then I wake up and I feel like I'm in a roller coaster because you feel like that stomach like it's going inside.
Oh,
I was like,
feeling.
it was like this. Yeah.
Bro, that couch about to break, bro.
I was like, what? It's good. It's good.
It was an earthquake in here. Yeah, but
it was turbulence.
Yeah, it was turbulence, and yeah, I didn't have a neck like that neck rest thing, so my neck was like all types of messed up and everything like that. So sorry, my phone. My phone is like blowing up, so that's how I was like, take it
bro.
away.
Read what it says. No, I'm just
You should have dropped it on the floor.
Yeah, I forgot to silence my phone after, but
no, you're good.
It's all good.
rookie.
That
You know what I'm
was
saying?
funny.
But yeah, you're out in LA, and you're getting all these thoughts. But I mean, we still kept in touch for the most part.
For the most part, you guys call me every like
Every
2
week,
months.
every other
Nah, I'm
week,
joking.
every minute. Joel, are you okay? But
Nah,
but it was good. So how was your school experience out there?
School experience. Well, that first week, so I got there, so I left you guys. I arrived. I was like super so anxious. Like I was like shaking half the time because like I didn't know anybody there. Like a lot of people, they got there and they knew people already. Like they had their friend groups. They knew who to hang out with. So I get there. I remember I go to like lunch or dinner, and then like I just go to a random table, start talking to people, start making friends, and then like I start getting a little sick. And then they're putting people in quarantine. So I was the first person who got put in quarantine. I actually didn't have COVID, but they thought I had COVID. So they still threw me in a room by myself for a whole week.
Dang.
A whole week. And it like imagine me just like being super like, kind of like depressed, like missing you guys, being super anxious. And then like me just being thrown in a room by myself with nobody. Like that, like I felt like I relived my like, cause I dealt with depression in the past. And I felt like being put in that place, like really like made me relive like everything that I went through, like in depression. Mm. So I remember like being in there, like I had to do like some assignments. They brought me food, like they would drop off my food at my
dorm,
in my dorm, like in front of my door, and like they would just drop it off there. Like I had like no human contact, and I would pick up my food, eat, go to sleep, do my homework, and then worship in the morning, worship in the night. But I just feel like that wasn't even enough. Like I was just like super alone. Like I was in need of fellowship. I was in need of like people to talk to. And it was just like this overwhelming, just like the enemy just trying to sneak in, because it was a transition state. It was a transition, and the enemy always attacks in transition. I've realized that when I came back here, we'll talk about that after, but when I came back here, it was another transition, and the enemy was constantly trying to attack me again. But in that moment, it was like, you're alone. You're like, nobody's here. Nobody's got you. You're by yourself. You're probably just gonna like rot in this room until like they let you out. And it was like that constant, just like, you're alone, blah blah blah. But I had to keep on fighting that. I would play worship music. I would read the word. Like I had to keep on fighting those thoughts, but they would keep on coming. Like they would just like throw like darts, and I just had to like deflect them all the time, because it was just that moment. I was just like, man, this is hard, but I'm gonna have to go through it. I'm gonna have to go through it, and I know I'm gonna come out stronger in the midst of all that. So it was just like, I get out of there. I'm struggling to make friends, because usually the first week, people are already like mingling together. They're already making friends. They're already like finding who their friend group is. And I get out and I'm just like, yo, like who are these people? Like, they already have friends. Like, I feel like I don't belong here. And then I don't know, like, this is when you come in. I don't know how did we meet at first, bro?
I don't even
You want to
remember.
explain? You don't remember?
It was
just like a
I was
God
just
moment.
like, who is this kid? Like, it's like I already knew some people at the school, so like I kind of had like a friend group going, and then like he just kind of like came into the picture. And I was like, oh, okay, this guy's pretty funny. We'll just like grab him into a group.
He gave me a chance. I put in my whole resume and like they accepted me in their friend group.
Oh.
Nah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we rejected Joel a couple times.
Yeah.
Until we kept on seeing his resume in our account.
But I just let him in real quick.
Yeah.
Nah, but I mean, it kind of was like that actually. Joel, tell us about you before. How were you then? You know,
Like
before you came to Christ.
Ooh, man. Sheesh.
Throwing chairs.
He said throwing chairs.
Throwing
Throwing
elotes.
Oh yeah, I was a pretty mad kid growing up. So I grew up in a Christian household, but it was just like it was kind of a broken household in at times.
Yeah.
Because I know when the recession hit, like people were losing jobs, people were losing houses, people were struggling to pay the bills, and I know like a lot of parents had to go work and they would leave their kids at home alone, and they would just like kind of like not forget about them. They would be working for them, but they would forget like like it's not just about money. It's not just about like paying the bills. It's about like emotionally and spiritually investing in your kids. And I felt like in that season, I was like, when did the recession hit?
2008.
2008. I remember like how old was I? I was like 4 years old. I was 4 years old, and then going from there, I was just like, bro, like where are my parents at? I just felt like super alone. I was just like, what is going on here? I was like, everybody's working, and it was just like this constant state of like my dad losing his job, and then it was like him trying to find a new job, him losing that job, him like trying to find another job. So it was like until him now, like the Lord has blessed him a lot. But just in that like big old season of like him trying to find a job, him trying to pay the bills, like he kind of like lost his place in like trying to be a father. Like, and he had like a super broken household too. So like imagine him being stressed about paying the bills. Imagine him like trying to figure out how we're gonna like eat tomorrow. And then like kids acting up in the house, and, like all the anger that pours out, and like he would let that anger out on us sometimes. Like he would do things that I can't blame him because he's angry, and like he's going through a lot. He's trying to pay the bills, and he would do stuff, and I forgive him, and I'm probably not gonna say that stuff on the podcast, but it was just so many like things that would happen because like that was just that tension in the house that like we need to pay the bills, like clean the house, like clean your room, like do this, do that. And like they would come home like super stressed out, like, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that. But it was just that constant, like I would be angry all the time because like, you know what? He's angry, I'm just gonna be angry all the time. And we would still go to church, we would still have like that. Like I know a lot of people, like a lot of families, they go to church and they're like broken, like nobody knows it, but like if you go behind the scenes of like people's families in church, like there's a lot of fights, there's a lot of like arguments that people don't see, and then you think they're like this perfect family going to church, like all makeup, like they have makeup on, like they have a perfect dress, but like behind the scenes, like that family's broken.
But yeah, I think that, I mean, to the viewer, I mean, I think that's what it is though about church. I mean, I wouldn't come to church if I was like all like perfect, right?
Yeah,
I would just go to my house. But the church is actually a place for like broken people to be healed.
Church is a hospital.
Yeah, you might see these families like, yo, you got nice cars, right? All this, but behind that like image, right? There's a bigger picture.
Yeah.
But growing up, like, and this is for like the atheists that is like, why even go to church? Is because we're broken people in need of healing. They say, there's a saying, this is a hospital for hypocrites, right? Because over the ages, Christianity has had this image, like this facade, right? Over is that we're like perfect people, right? Come to our side because we're living it perfectly. But no, we're not. We're struggling humans, in need of help, and we find that peace and joy in Jesus.
Yeah.
Amen.
And that's like, if you're watching this right now, like there's no other, you can't find joy in anything else, nothing that the world can offer. Even if you're struggling for money, I bet you if your parents had all that money in that time, it wouldn't solve anything, there would still be issues in the home. There's always going to be issues in the home.
Yeah.
You know, but when you put Jesus in the center, tell you what, those issues are going to diminish.
Yeah, and that's what I seen. Like, seeing my family just be healed. Like, you know, like our financial status just like completely like being blessed and just like that, and just seeing like my family like you know growing over the years and like growing together has been like really like has like blessed me a lot. When I was growing up, that affected me like that area where like we were all struggling like mentally, like physically, financially. We were all like a mess, and like I would like go around and like carry that like at school. Like I would be like angry, like he said, like throwing chairs at like teachers, like being angry all the time, just like being sassy, just like roasting people, like just for the sake of it, like just like hating on people, like what are you wearing, like what are you doing, like, you know, just like finding any reason to complain and like to downplay people. And it wasn't till like when was it? It was like when I was like 15, I was just like fed up. I was just like, you know what? Like I was already super alone. Like if you guys don't know, like from elementary to like pretty much like the beginning of my high school, I was like pretty much alone. Like I didn't have any friends. Like elementary school, like literally had no friends. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I was like this super quiet introvert kid, and literally nobody wanted to talk to me. Like I would just be by myself most of the time. Middle school was kind of like me going up, like talking to people, but like nobody would want to hang out with me because I would always be like angry. I would always be like super resentful, like hatred all over me. And then high school is when like I was just like, dude, like I've like lived angry this whole time, like for like what, like 5 years, just super resentful, just angry, just bitter, and just like being mad for no reason. And I was just like, something needs to change. Because I was getting depressed. I was like, this anger is not making me happy. This anger is not fulfilling my life. Everything just feels like clouded. And I just need someone to come save me. And I came to church. Like, I knew who Jesus was, but I never had that encounter. And I was coming to that. It was like that build-up point where I was just like, yeah, I need Jesus. I feel like we all come to that point where we're like, we go through our life situations and then we're like, dang, I need Jesus. Like, you're fed up with like let's say if you're a gangster, you sell drugs for a certain amount of years and you just get tired of it. You just get tired of doing that lifestyle and you're like, I need something different. I need a life change. And that's when you realize that you need Jesus the most. And that's what it was for me. I was at a point where I was so fed up with it that I didn't want to live anymore, that I was suicidal, that I was depressed, that I was like, you know what, like this is dumb. Like I don't even want to live no more. I'm just angry all the time. I wake up angry, I sleep angry, and what's the point of life? And that's when I started seeking Jesus. And I remember they had an event called Unstoppable Love. Do you remember those?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those were like, it was my first time going to an event. And I was just asking Lord, I was just like, I don't even know who you are. Like I've never encountered you, but like right now I'm just like at my lowest moment. And I was just telling him, I was like, dude, look, if I don't feel your love, like, I don't know, like, if I'm going to, like, end my life tonight or if I'm going to end it next week, but I just don't feel like I want to be here. I was just super depressed. Like, my family, like, we were all just trying to, like, pick up after, like, you know, the financial, like, breakdowns and everything like that and, like, all the tension at home. And I was just, like, fed up with it. I was fed up with school. I didn't have any friends. I would get bullied, too. Like, I was a bully because I did get bullied. Like you probably hear that saying, like, hurt people, because literally like people hurt me, people bullied me, people laughed at me, so like I would do the same. I would project the same. I was like a mirror, like I would like they would like project at me and I would be like, yo, here you go, like I'm just gonna project that same amount of like hate. So I would do that. And then at the Unstoppable like Love event, I like, you know how they usually do like the altar calls and they're like, you know, if you want to encounter Jesus, and I was like, yeah, I want to encounter Jesus. I just feel like so messed up right now. Like I don't feel like anything else is going to like save me. So I go up there and I'm just like, I'm probably not gonna feel anything. Like whatever. I'm just gonna go up here and it's just gonna be another like a mediocre service, and I'm just not gonna feel like the presence of the Lord. And I get up there, dude. I remember, dude, just like lifting up my hands. And I'm just like, I'm done. Like, if the Lord doesn't encounter me, like, I don't know what else there is. So right there, dude, I feel the presence of the Lord, like, so deeply. Like, I just, like, fall down on the floor. I remember people praying for me. And then even after the service, I was still shaking and crying. Because the presence of the Lord, like, the love of Christ just, like, just like pierced through like all my brokenness, and it's just like it changed my whole life. Like from that moment, like I started telling my friends about Jesus. From that moment, I went to the Jesus Club, and like it was called the Christian Club at first. I went to the Christian Club, dude. I remember I was still like a new believer. Like I still had my defects. I was super annoying. Like you want to tell them like a little bit about me, like how I was at first.
Yeah, so I've actually known Joel like my whole life. We grew up in church together. So I know a lot about him, and I knew like his growth. Like in the beginning, he was a really big bully. I was scared of him. Like I kid you not, like sometimes we'd go home and our parents, your mom and my mom, they were like best friends. So at times I would go home and be like, Mom, like Joel was like, he's very scary. Like he got anger issues, you know? And then like you were like that for a while, but then seeing his growth, like you're more outgoing than me. Like I remember this one time we had just recently we had the conference. And someone actually came up to me and they're like, hey, like, go get some tips with Joel, like, to how to be outgoing. And I was like, honestly, like, yeah, like, I need that. Because it's like, he's just this whole, like, different person. And even at Christian Club, when he first started, I think I was a vice president at the time. Yeah. And he was very, like, quiet, conservative. He was going, like, he would, like, be part of it. And then slowly you saw, like, him just, like, preaching and, like, worshiping. And he was, like, singing and, like, he was bringing people in. And it was, like, it was just amazing. Actually, me and Janae, we talk about you because me and Janae, shout out to Janae, we worked together. So she was a president. I was a vice president. And then you were, like, you're going to be like the secretary, right? Or something like that, I think. For the first year, I was nothing. I was just a servant. Oh, yeah. He was a really good servant, though. Like, he did a lot of stuff. So we actually talked about you. And like, we were just amazed at, like, the growth and, like, the difference, you know, you became. It's just, I love to. We actually talked about it last week. How we were saying how, like, God, like, will come to you, like, even at your broken, like, worst points, like you feel like not enough, and then you came to Christ and like he filled you up with joy and happiness, and now you like you can see it in you, like you see it in like your eyes and your smile and your joy, and it's just amazing. Joy, you keep going. It's awesome. Love to see it.
Shout out to Joel.
Yeah,
always coming up to me at school and giving me those little cards of Jesus Club free pizza.
Hey, no, for real.
Dude, pizza will bring people to Jesus.
Oh yeah.
And you gotta do what you gotta do.
Even if they go for the wrong intentions, like the Lord just still meets them there in that. And it's crazy how the Lord does that. Like you will like, oh, like they can just get a little slip and they're like, yeah, I'm just gonna go for the pizza, like God is fake. But like literally, like I know like a couple of people that go to this church that were fruits of that, like Leo and Lawrence, and they haven't stopped going because they feel the love. Yeah. They feel the love, and like they saw something different, and they were like, yeah, let's roll with this, and they've been going here for like I don't know how long, like 3 years.
Longer, bro.
Probably longer than that. I don't even know how to tell time anymore.
It's like a little seed that's planted inside of them, you know, and then slowly it just starts to like bloom and grow, and it's like, it's awesome.
It's like come for the wrong reasons, but stay for the right ones.
Exactly.
You know? Dang,
yes, sir.
Slogan right there,
sir. Hey,
Jesus
JC, put that up here.
Quote that, bro.
Quote that boy right now.
Yeah. But then, just speaking on that, like you know how a lot of people say like, oh, I'm an introvert, like I can't do this or like I can't do that. But like I literally came from being like the lowest like the lowest level introvert like that you could ever like think of, like not talking to anybody, to like being this like extrovert, like going like up to people, just talking to them, like shouting on a mic, like yo, Jesus loves you, like
super loud,
like will like break people's eardrums. But I'm just like, how did like that transition could only be Jesus. Yeah. Like no medication, no nothing could have got me to that place that like I was this person that was just full of joy. Like every morning, this is something I do. I pray every single morning that the Lord fills me with His joy. Like I don't care like how I woke up that morning. Like I always want the love of Jesus to radiate like in me, like so people can see it. Because I never want to be like meeting somebody at the store and to me like approach them with like this negative like, oh, I just woke up, like I haven't ate breakfast, I haven't drank my coffee. Like those people that need coffee to have a good attitude, I'm sorry. I'm calling you guys out. Like, I don't know where you guys are at, but you don't need a coffee to have a good attitude. You just need to pray that the Lord gives you that joy every single morning. That's what I do.
Yeah, guys, you're very serious this morning. You gotta wake up. I walked in here this morning. I was like, "Good morning." They're like, "Good morning."
Yeah.
We're like, oh no, Marlene's here.
Right. Whatever.
Nah, she does. She like makes up for like the rest of us, but
It's okay. We're all on the same level now.
Yo, when I met Joel, I had just started coming to church, and I remember he was like auditioning for like singing.
Oh God.
Right. And Joel finally makes like this worship team, but like I feel like even then you were still like transitioning to like who you are today. So I feel like in that season, like you were trying to find a way to like fit in with the crowd now, like from the moment like where you're like, I don't want anything to do with these people. Now you're trying to like fit in with the crowd. But I think we can all agree, like when you went to this like encounter in Texas,
Oh yeah.
like you came back and it's like, you know, like what Eli preached about yesterday, like be you, and now you got David, Johnny, you being yourselves, right? Like who God's called you guys to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really nice to see like, you know, your transition overall and kind of like where God put your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy because that trip to Texas, I was planning on going by myself, and I was being a little selfish. I'm going to be honest with you, Johnny. I was like, I don't think I want to invite Johnny and David because they're going to distract me. Like if we're all together, like we're not going to like learn about God. But like the Lord confronted me about that. He was like, are you just going to be selfish and keep it all to yourself, or are you going to let others encounter me out there? And I was like, and then literally, bro, like that Texas trip changed our lives, dude. Like Johnny, David are never going to be the same after that Texas trip. And then even that, like that trickled down to all of you guys. I know Jose, like he's not here, but I remember the first night that we had a prayer night. And I don't even know, literally, like, I would get back from work, and I'd be like, yo, I would just hit up all the boys, like, you know, let's do a spontaneous Bible study. And we would read, like, 3 verses, and we're just like, I feel like we need to pray right now. So we just start praying over each other, and we're praying over Josecito, like he just crying, bawling his eyes out. And we're just like, Jose, you're not going to be the same after this night. Like, you've been, Jose was in this, like, season where he was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I feel like I'm stuck. And then we came there and we were like, Jose, this is your time to like get up. And then just seeing him from that moment, like that's a little spark. And he became a
prophet.
Yeah, he burst into flame, and it's just like, and then like just seeing like what the Lord is doing in his life, and like all the doubt that he had in himself, and just seeing him like he's in the podcast, and he always has like some like, oh, I think about this, and he's always has like a word of wisdom, and I'm just like,
intelligent.
What did we say he was? He was a nugget of wisdom.
A nugget of wisdom. I'm just like, just seeing that, like that Texas trip, like that completely like shifted my mindset. That's why I went to Bible college, because I was like, yo, like this is something I want to do for a living. I want to see like souls like changed, delivered, transformed for my life. Like I don't want to do anything else.
Yeah.
And that's why I went to Bible college. But going to Bible college, it was like rough, like the first moment. And then also even being there, it was a struggle to keep my devotional life and also learn about the Lord. Because we're learning about the Lord every single day. Like every single day. And then like you also have to fit in time for the intimacy time. You can't just be like, you know what, like I'm gonna learn like the word, like I'm gonna have like Genesis class, I'm gonna have like Life of David class, and that's it. Like, oh, I had my part of the day. It's just like, no, like you have to go in the intimate moment. You have to like literally be intentional with it. You have to be like, God, like I was learning in class and the teacher was teaching me, but like I don't know, like I need to go in the intimate moment. I need to open up my Bible and I need you to speak to me. And that's what like literally kept me alive, because I know like the first like 2 weeks I got caught in that mindset of like, I don't think I need to do a devotional because I'm already learning about God like every single day. But like that can become like super like dangerous. Just thinking you're good because you had a class. Just thinking you're good because you're learning about God, and that's when you come cold. You're like, yeah, I know so much. I know all these facts, but is like the Spirit of God like, you know, filling me up every single day? Am I pouring out to others? Am I being who God has called me to be, or am I just filled up with his knowledge? And that was that constant fight of like, yo, you need to go in that intimate moment with the Lord, and just seeing what the Lord did. Like, I remember like we had this prayer chapel, and like I was kind of doubting going there. And I remember the first day that I went, there's this guy named Zach. Shout out to Zach. I'm going to make him watch this just because I said his name. I was like, Yeah, so like he goes there and he prays every day at 9 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Oh.
like every week. And like just like seeing, like I was asking the Lord for some friends that like, you know, like moved in the spirit that were like really about prayer, and I was just like, that's a good place to look, the prayer chapel. And then I remember I get there, and then it was like a Friday evening, and we all just start praying, like we all just start praying, and then like the room, bro. It like, I know Jose said in this previous, if you watched other podcasts, it felt like we were like floating, like we were like the presence of the Lord was just like, it was just like we felt like we needed nothing else in that moment.
Yeah.
We were like, dude, like nothing else matters, just this moment. And like people started speaking in tongues, like people started like praying over each other, like some like people were prophesying in there, and I was just like, yo, what is going on? Like it feels like I'm back at home, and it's just like the Lord is moving. And just seeing that, like that one night, and then we had a night of prayer like a month after that, and then somebody's leg got healed, and I'm just like, that whole campus just got transformed, like off of like us. We were all praying that the Lord would move in the campus, because one thing about Bible college is that people can get so caught up on like knowledge and books and like, oh, I know this and you don't know that, and like people just clash on theological aspects. But like when you get together and you start praying that the Lord like transforms lives, you just see a unity in the body of Christ. Because I know like there's like a lot of like division on like Calvinism, all this stuff, like, oh, I believe in predestination, blah blah blah. And but when you get in that like intimate place and you're just praying that the Lord transforms other people's lives, and you get like, you remove that aspect of just like, yo, like no more arguments. Let's try to save the world. Let's try to tell the world about Jesus, and let's stop arguing, and let's actually start praying. And that's what we saw that semester. Like people that like thought they knew everything, they got in that moment, and like literally we just saw like 30 people in the prayer chapel. Like the first time that I went there was like 4 of us. And like seeing at the end of the like semester, like there was just this theme of like praying and praying. Like people just wanted to pray. Like people just wanted to spend time with Jesus. They were like, you know what? Like I had classes today. I learned about the Lord, but like we want more. Like there was just this hunger all over campus just to know the Lord. And it was just like, man, like it was just so amazing, you know? I was like kind of like a little experience out there.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty cool college.
We gotta
Yeah.
go.
Hey, let's sign up for college.
Jump to Bible school.
Yup to college, nah.
Yeah.
But
College
hey,
edition.
so like let's focus the camera on Nehemiah now, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so-
Tell us a little about yourself.
Yeah, tell us a little bit. You know, if like we said, Nehemiah came from LA. Do you live in where do you live actually?
Let him talk.
Well,
Let him talk.
I'm from Okinawa, Japan, but yeah, so
Hey.
just flew out to Marietta for college.
How long was that flight?
Well, it's for like 9 hours.
Oh.
About,
Sheesh.
yeah.
Wow.
Normally, like I think going from like LA to Tokyo, it's like typically like 12 hours, but yeah, I think just like it's like different times with like wind drafts and whatnot. Yeah.
Now that we're on that topic, how is life in Tokyo?
I mean,
Are there
I'm not from
drifters?
Tokyo, but like I visited there. It's so much like where I'm from. It's like Okinawa. It's completely different than like what you might think of normally. Like in Japan, like Tokyo is kind of like the picture, like the big picture of what you see, and it's like busy life, and there's like all these people that go to work and whatnot, and then like you like go all the way down south. Like I live on a little island that's like way farther down, yeah, and then it's like just like slowed down like half speed. Like people are
Okay.
driving.
So
like
it's kind of like over here. It's like we got like San Francisco, we got New York, right?
yeah,
Big
yeah.
traffic
And then
cities,
there's
right? And
Pittsburgh.
then,
Yeah,
and then
but-
we got Pittsburgh and you know, kind of like mellowed out, right?
Yeah,
Kind of
yeah.
do our own thing, our own
Yeah,
culture.
we just call it like island life and whatnot.
island life.
Yeah,
eh?
island
Yeah.
boys.
Island
Island boys. No.
Stop.
All right, tell us a little about yourself, your little
But yeah,
testimony.
It was your upcoming, yeah.
Yeah. So my dad, he's a military kid. So he was. Yeah, he kind of like grew up in Okinawa. He was born there. His dad was in the military, so like he was just kind of like there for a little bit, and then he kind of like moved around a lot. But like, yeah, he moved out of the house when he was like 16 or something. Came to LA, then met my mom here, and then like he became saved here, and then had like my older brother, and my older sister, and then they moved back to Japan, and they started the ministry there, in like a little tiny house and whatnot. And then like that's when I was born. And then like the church just started growing like rapidly. Like we just like started like doing outreaches and stuff. There's like different churches there. Like we have a couple of like planted churches and like around the island. Yeah.
Glory to God.
Yeah. And so like for me, like just growing up around the church all the time, it was cool. Like so my dad's like he's a pastor of the church, so like we just like it's just like church kid kind of stuff, like pastor's kid. Like for my situation it's a little different, like just growing up around in like Okinawa, it's like we didn't really grow up speaking Japanese, but like we did. It was like I was surrounded by it like all the time. So like I learned a little bit of Japanese and whatnot. So like yeah, it was just different. Like you speak to the kids and like try to like talk to them about like Jesus and whatnot, and like just tell them about the gospel and stuff. And like it was kind of like difficult for me. So like I kind of had my own bubble within my own church. Like it's like, oh, this is all my like church friends. Like especially in Okinawa, it's like it was taken over by like like the U.S. took over in like World War II, and then like we kind of just like had a peace like contract with like the locals there and whatnot.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot of Americans that just come in, and like it's a kind of a recurring theme. Like there's like people that like military families, they stay there for 3 years and then like they just leave because like that's just they just get deployed. So like for me it's like I haven't really had like a long friend more than like 6 years. So like but it was just like God was like teaching me about like all that and like using that like situation to like just like nurture and like become the friends with. I've always had like one good friend that's like I just like kind of like click with for like 3 to 6 years, and then like yeah, it's just like he's been like speaking to me through that. But like for me, like it's just like you kind of get like, used to the motions of things, like especially as like growing up in the church, like you become complacent in like where you are. Like it can happen a lot. It's kind of like common thing, but like for me it was just like my dad, he was always so busy with the church and stuff, and my mom, like I was homeschooled, so my mom like she was always helping me with like my school, and yeah, like sin just like came into my life, creeped in. It was like it's like waiting at the door, and I just like let it open and just came at me. I was like, oh man. So like that kind of happened, and I was like just yeah, I was just like in sin for like most of my teenage years, and then I went on like a like my dad, like there's this conference in Tokyo. Well, not in Tokyo, it's in Okutama. It's like somewhere, it's near Tokyo. It's still like in the same area kind of. But it's like this conference where all the pastors in Japan, like all the Calvary Chapel pastors, they come and they just like spend time together and teach each other and grow together and just get to know each other and like just worship God and just like dwell in his like spirit and like let the spirit move in them, like amongst them, so they can grow together and stuff. Yeah, so they usually bring like an intern or like someone, like a young guy typically. Yeah, so my dad was like, hey, why don't you just, my brother had gone to that, and so like he was like, hey, why don't you just come out? And then I was like, okay. Yeah, just came out there. I was like 17. Or actually, I think it was like, actually no, this was like a couple months ago. Yeah, November, I think. Yeah, like the Lord just like spoke to me there, and like the guy, one of the head pastors there was like, he's like, I have a word from the Lord. He's like, just whoever's in this room, just like, he's like, I have a question. Like, why are you not on fire for me right now? And so I was like, that really like spoke to me. I was like, because I had prayed like the sinner's prayer and whatnot, like in youth, like a lot of times. And I was always questioning like if I was saved or not. And like, I don't think the question for me was like if I was saved. I think it was like, what am I doing about it instead? So I was like, okay. So that just really spoke to me. I was like, okay, well, I know I'm saved now. Like, what am I supposed to do? So like, he just was like, oh, be on fire for me. And then ever since then, like, I was just like constantly like, I was like a thirsty Christian. Like, I just needed more of that. Like, I was like, what am I gonna do? I was like, and my brother was like, oh, you should come to Bible college, because my brother had come to Bible college like back to 2017 and to 2020. So like, I was like, oh, that's cool. I could just go there and follow my brother's footsteps. Yeah. And then like, yeah, I just came to Bible college, and it was just like one of the best experiences of my life. Yeah. I don't think I would have grown like as spiritually as I did if I had not gone to like Bible college. Yeah.
Sheesh.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you met Joel. Most important.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Best part. Yeah. Yeah. Joel actually, he was the one who like really encouraged me to come to the prayer chapel. Like I was not an avid prayer at all. Like I was like, okay, like I was actually kind of like in the same, like we was talking about earlier about like people like just being so like submerged in like just biblical studies and knowledge that's just like poured out onto them all the time. It makes it like what he was saying, like it can feel like that's where you're getting your time with God from. But really it's like, yeah, what he's saying, like you get your time from the personal time with God.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how like
true.
he speaks to you personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like, yeah, he really like, yeah.
Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah. That's basically how it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also going to the gym.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I brought him up to the gym. I was helping him out with physical gains, and he was out helping me out with spiritual gains.
Hey JC, put that up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Dang.
Yeah, but on the same topic of knowledge, it's crazy because if you think about it, like, in the Bible, when you think of the Pharisees and other Jews, like all of these people had plenty of knowledge. Like they knew their Torah, but even they didn't recognize who Jesus was. They didn't recognize him as a Messiah. And it's like, it really correlates with what you were talking about. Like, you can have as much knowledge as you want. You can read as much of the Bible as you want. You can study as much as you want. But if you don't like apply it to your life, if you don't have a relationship with God, if you don't like have that intimacy with him, then you will never really serve a purpose, so to speak.
You'll know the weight of its fruits.
It won't affect you.
Yeah. Another thing you mentioned that was actually really important. You said the word complacency. And I think that's like, right now we're on this topic in our church called the silent killers. I think that's a silent killer in the church, right? You know, as a Christian, like you can tend to fall into complacency in your relationship with God and the way you serve. Like you think I'm good, I'm good right now. I'm doing what I need to be doing, right? But I think that's because we know that growth is uncomfortable. And God, has really been like speaking to us as an organization, right? Don't be complacent. Always strive to do more. Like go the extra mile for your neighbor, right? Because we're all called to be servants, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that was really, good and important. Like as Christians, let's try not to fall into complacency.
Yeah. Praise the Lord. Yeah.
Yeah. So praise Jesus.
And I feel like it's just easy to fall into complacency, though. Like, just like staying in your comfort zone is the easiest thing to do. Serving God is probably one of the hardest things you're ever going to do.
Yeah.
Because like even myself, like I would say I'm like naturally anxious, but like really like I have anxiety most of the time, but like I know that God has called me to like speak out to people and to like have like this leadership role. If you guys don't know, I'm actually part of the Jesus Club in our local high school, in Pittsburgh High School, actually.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, I've been the president for like the past 2 years, and like it's crazy like what God can do. And it's really like about putting yourself out there, and like if you know God has a calling for you, then at the end of the day, like you have to answer, no matter what you may feel. Like if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling depressed, if God has a calling for you, that is greater than anything you're feeling in the moment, And I feel like that's just something to talk about. Like, it's very easy to be complacent. It's very easy to try to stay in your comfort zone. And like, oftentimes I really just have to like push myself. I'm like, or like, let's say like if someone like gets you angry, like you have to like try to calm yourself down. And you're like, I need to calm down. I'm a leader. Like, I'm a leader. Okay. I need to be a leader. I need to be a good role. I need to be an example, and that's where like complacency can kick in. Like you're like, oh, like I don't care what anybody says. I want to do my own thing, and like I don't want to have this like sense of responsibility, because at the end of the day, that's what the calling is. It's calling you to responsibility. It's calling you to what's the word for it? It's like when people can call you out. Accountability. It's like it's calling you to accountability at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's really, really easy to stay complacent.
The only way to like stay out of complacency really is like having that relationship with God, like like uptight. Like you really got to be in your word and your prayer, and in in a habit, right? You got to make that a habit for your day-to-day life. Because otherwise, like, you know, because God speaks to you on a daily, right?
Yeah.
You know, how will you know if you're becoming complacent, right? Well, God's going to convict you, right? He's going to put a word in front of you. Or when you go into that secret place to pray, he's going to tell you right away, like, yo, you're doing this, you're doing that. Like, maybe you should recheck that area of your life. But the moment that you start lacking, like, oh, maybe I'll just pray once this week. And then you start, like, you start getting these blind spots, right? You think you're going the right direction, but you're really not.
That's where the enemy come in.
Yeah, that's where the enemy starts creeping in. It's like, yo, I'm back, right? But another, you know, that kind of goes hand by hand what he said,
Yeah.
It's true.
Building off of what like he was saying, like I remember when I was it was my senior year and I was the president. Dude, that year was the growing year.
For real.
I had to preach that year. I had to sing. I had to lead worship. Like I've never done that before, and having to preach to like kids that I don't even know. Like
it's because like none of us could sing back then.
Yeah, none of us could sing. Like we were all like struggling.
Now we can.
Joel can.
Yeah, we had one guitarist and he was like barely learning how to play guitar. So
David.
like
Shout out to David, man. Shout out to
David. He had humble beginnings for sure. I remember like we were trying to like sing a song and then he didn't know how to transpose keys. So he made me sing Reckless Love in original key and I was like I was like, Lord, you got to save me from this. Jesus, take the wheel. Yeah, but it was just like that year. That's so funny. Yeah, it was like that year. It was like I had a choice, or whether I was gonna be complacent or whether I was gonna be obedient, and I decided to be obedient. Maybe like my voice didn't sound that good, like half the time, or maybe my I didn't preach that good or whatever. But I did it. Yeah. There was people that didn't want to do it. There was people that didn't want to step up, etc. But I was obedient, and I wasn't gonna look at their disobedience. I was gonna look at like the Lord and be like, you know what, I'm doing this for you. Like I don't care if nobody else does it. I don't care if I'm the only one preaching. I don't care if I'm like the only one going out and giving these pizzas or talking to people. Like I'm gonna go do it. And something that I would do is I would pray for the morning. I would pray in the morning. I would pray in the night because I was a leader, and I was like, I need leadership. So I would pray in the morning. I would pray in the night. I was like, God, give me some ideas. God, I need your help. And literally, that's when we did a Jesus rally. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Oh, yeah.
It's called a Love Rally. So I remember I was reading this book. It was called The Jesus Clubs. Shout out to Brian Barcelona. This is not a paid advertisement. Yes. So I was reading his book, and he was talking about how like the Lord just spoke to him about making a love rally, and I was like, like the Lord just spoke to me in that moment. He was like, you can do that too, and I was like, me like I have no planning abilities. Like I know girls that like can plan like at the back of their hand, but I was just like, I don't know if I can plan this, but I'm gonna be obedient. So like little by little, like we were planning it. We were like, oh, we were planning the budget, even though like I got like 10 extra pizzas. Do not tell me to be your accountant because I got like 10 extra pizzas and like they went to waste. R.I.P. Yeah, but like just seeing that year and just seeing like the obedience and like everybody, like I remember Carla told her testimony.
Dude, Carla's testimony was crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Like it gave me a whole new perspective as who she is as a person, and honestly, like I gained a lot more respect for her for that.
Yeah, she like if you guys know Carla, like I think she goes to Legendary Youth. Like she's a super like strong woman. Like literally, dude. Like if I went through that, like I don't know, like what I would do. Like literally, just seeing her grow too is just like, man, it's been crazy. But like that whole like love rally, dude. Like just seeing like like Beatrice lead worship, just seeing her name's Rachel. They were leading worship, and like just like all the kids like that. We like were constantly inviting. We were like putting like posters on the wall. We were like handing out little flyers.
Yeah, and it was like heck of people from different churches too that were like showing up and like getting together in one building. Because like if you think about it, oftentimes, especially in Hispanic churches or churches in general, the thing that they'll do is that like they won't allow their kids to go anywhere because they'll be like, oh, they're trying to like robar almas. They're trying to like steal souls, basically. that's how they think about it. That's how they think about it, unfortunately. Yeah. But like at the end of the day, like our souls are forgot.
Amen.
Our lives are forgotten, and we just like it was crazy because like a bunch of people just got together in one spirit and just like made it happen. And if you want to elaborate a little bit more about what happened.
Yeah, it was just like I remember like after the love rally, I know like a lot of people went up to me and they were like, dude, like hearing the testimonies, like hearing like the worship, like it touched my heart, and I'm never gonna forget about this. Like in a public high school, preaching about Jesus is not like common. Like you don't see that a lot. You see drugs, you see like teenagers having sex, you see all these different things in high schools. But when you see the gospel being preached in high schools, it's different. And it's exactly what needs to be preached in high school, because everybody's looking for a high. Everybody's looking for something to like give their time to or put their identity in. And literally when we present the gospel, we present the truth, we present the life, people's lives were transformed. Like people were like, yeah, they're handing out pizza every week. They're going out and handing out flyers. Like this is different. And I feel like those seeds were planted in those people that were there. They were like, maybe they're not going to give their lives to Jesus that year. But like, what if that like little seed just like was put there, but the Lord is going to make that grow in his own time, you know? Maybe that person wasn't ready to hear it. Maybe he was going through a lot of things, but maybe throughout the years, he's going to remember like, wait, there was a bunch of kids on fire for Jesus that were preaching the gospel, that were handing out pizzas, that cared about my well-being. And let me try Jesus out just because I thought about that. I'm like, wow, it's just crazy. Like sometimes we don't think we're doing a difference, but when we take a step back, because like, I feel like sometimes we're so close to like the picture that when we step back, we actually see like, dang, like we actually did a lot. Like God actually did a lot. Like even if it was just one soul, even if it was just Leo and Lawrence that we like the fruits that we saw, it was enough. Like all that effort, all that work that we did, like we put in hours, bro. I remember we put in hours. We were like constantly like, dude, I would be texting. We had a group chat, and I would text like probably like 5 times a day. You guys, they were annoyed with me. Like I was like, do this, do that, do that, do that. But then like I was just like, I don't know if I'm annoying them. But at the end of the day, they said that they appreciate it. I hope that's true. I hope that's true.
I'm not gonna lie, kind of wasn't. But like, we did like at the end of the day, like we knew that like this was the move of God, and ultimately like we saw the fruits of the labor. You know, and we're just happy to be part of it at the end of the day, you know. Obviously, like in the moment, like when you're growing, when you're putting yourself out of your comfort zone, there's obviously going to be some discomfort, you know. And, you know, I'm happy that we just took part of that and just decided to move forward, even in the midst of our discomfort, because when we continue to move in the midst of our discomfort is when there's actually true growth. And like it was just a good experience overall.
Yeah. It was like a lot of fights. Like I know me and Valeria would like argue like half the time. Like you're supposed to do it like this, blah blah blah. And then like I remember we sat down and I got humbled. Like we were at like this what is it called? It's called not Steamworks. It's like in the mechanics bank. It's in Pittsburgh.
Oh, that coffee shop.
Oh, Steel Town.
Yeah, Steel Town.
Hey,
I don't know.
Coffee.
I was not
Please.
even close. I was not even close to the name.
Still works.
What did you say?
Steamboat.
Steam rooms.
Yeah,
That's
so
a restaurant, bro.
So I remember me and her, we sat down and I had all my plans for the love rally, and I was just like, here we go. And she was reading it and she looked at me. She was like, yeah, we're scrapping all this. And I was like, what? And I was just like, my pride kind of got in the way. I was like, I spent like a week planning this. I feel like it's good. But like she sat down and she explained to me why, like there was a reason. And I was like, I'm either going to take criticism or like, what's that thing called? Like, it's not criticism, but it's like edifying criticism.
Constructive criticism.
Constructive criticism. And I was like, I'm either going to take this or not. So I was like, you know what? God, like, I'm going to take it. Cause like sometimes like we're so caught up in ourselves and like, oh, we got it. Or like, you know what? Like I'm so smart. But like when we actually take the time to listen to somebody, that's actually when like that actually helped me a lot. Like the way that the love rally was it was like strategized. It was mostly because of her. I had like this whole different setup. Like I was like analyzing, oh, this is when we're gonna worship. This is when we're gonna pray. This is when we're gonna do this. But then it was just like she made room for like that spontaneous, like, you know, we're gonna let the Lord move. Cause like me, if you know me, I try to categorize everything and I try to like make everything a plan and like, you know what, like kind of putting God in a box. And like throughout the years, God has worked on me in that aspect. It's like, yo, like you should plan, but like don't over plan that, like where you're not leaving room for me to move. And I feel like a lot of churches, they do that. They're like, you know what, worship is 30 minutes, worship is 15 minutes, worship is 10 minutes. And it's just like, But if the Spirit moves, like, oh yeah, we have to
They
like
give like 5 minutes. But
it's just like people like need longer time to just like sit there and be with the Lord and just be like, you know what, I need help. Like, I need to feel your presence. I need to sit here in this moment, and it needs to be longer than 5 minutes, because like realistically, like I just love being in the presence of the Lord and worship, and I appreciate like, you know, how Legendary Youth, like they do like 4 or 5 songs, and like I just get to like praise the Lord. I get to be thankful. I gotta like say like thank you God for this, and I also gotta reflect on everything that He's done in my life in that worship time. And it's just like I need that reminder of like, you know, I need to say, you know, like thank you to the Lord. I need to be grateful. And it's just like we need to break that. Like a lot of churches, they need to realize like, you know what, like we need to value people's time, so we need to value people's souls too. Like you need to give them time. You need to like, you know, worship needs to be like, you know, a place where like people can actually meet the Lord and like give all of their cares and burdens and stuff like that. You know, like in the word, like, you know, I know there's preachers that would say like, oh, I'm about to end right now. I'm gonna end, and they say like 5 different times. I'm just like you know, like
I'm like, it's been 5 hours.
It's been 5 hours, but it's just like, you know, when people preach, it's like, you know, I feel like if the Lord is like wanting to say something else, like they should say it. But if they're just going on just because like, you know, let's say. But it's like really good just not to limit like the Lord and like what He wants to do. And that's like in our own lives. Like we don't like limiting our prayer time, limiting our like reading the word time. Like if we limit that, we limit what the Lord can do in our lives. So that's what I have.
I think that love rally ended like 10 or 11?
Oh, that's, you know, something crazy?
Huh.
So that love rally, like 2 weeks, COVID hit. Like
2 weeks after that?
Dude,
1 week.
I kid you not.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember Santiago told us that a week after that, COVID hit. Like a week or two after that, COVID hit.
And then school just stopped.
Yeah, it was my senior year. It was like, I know, like,
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was my senior year. It was half of the, I think it was like half of the year. It was like mid year.
yeah, mid
You know,
year.
it was like
Mid-year.
March.
Yeah, dude.
March.
What? It's been that long.
I remember you hit me up for that love rally. You're like, hey, bro, we need a logo for like Jesus Club.
I know. I have the.
And I was
we
like,
still have that.
and I was like, bro, and then you give me like a week or 2 time frame, and I was like, bro, like, I'm gonna brainstorm this. And that one really
through, though.
that really put me on the spot. Like I was just like designing, like I was like really getting headaches. But like honestly, like those times like that, like really helped me like push my creativity. You know, made me pull my creativity.
Shout out to Marcos.
The team, bro. Like y'all be cracking on me, like, nah, that one sucks. And like honestly, some of them did suck. And like that's how we got the final product. But like honestly, you gotta like take the criticism.
Yeah.
But one thing that I love about you guys, because like when I was in high school, like I was like a bad kid, but
Oh yeah.
like I didn't have no time for
Team
Jesus
Marcos.
Club, right? We were all so hyped in like what we were doing outside of like that, but I wasn't like really out seeking God. But like you guys were like really moving like your senior year or like throughout your years, and like I think I went to the Christian club like my freshman year, and it's because my cousin was like preaching.
Adriana. Shout out to Adriana.
She was the president then. But after that, I was like, I'm not going to this Jesus Club no more, right? And I did whatever I wanted through my 10 years. But like looking back at you guys, like honestly, like one thing you guys are doing, and one thing like I like about this organization is that it's changing perspectives as a whole. Like you guys are changing the definition of what a teenager in high school should be doing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like or what a teenager after high school should be doing, right? Like most people, like oh, I want to party in my teen years. I want to smoke. I want to drink. And you guys are like, yo, I'm gonna devote my life to like Christ in my youth, and like not only that, but like you're showing the fruits and the benefits of it. So like I really give you guys props for that, for redefining what a teenager should look like.
It's definitely it's definitely hard. Like as a teenager, like we can attest to that. Like everybody else is doing like the complete opposite what you're doing. It's like the narrow road and like the wide road. Like we're all going the narrow road, and like we just see all these people like they're going that way, and then what we're trying to do is like we're trying to get like, hey, this is the right way.
Trying to get people to that narrow road.
Yeah, we're trying to get people to that narrow road, and then sometimes it feels lonely. Sometimes it feels like we're on our own, but it's just like, yeah, we're doing it for Jesus, and we might stand out. We might look like like little freaks or whatever. Sometimes, like, why do they love people so much? Like, because like nowadays people are all about them. Like me, this. And it's just like me that, and it's just like people are so consumed in themselves that like they don't even love people, like they don't even love their friends. They're literally just using each other. That's what high school is. Like, oh, you have a bag of chips, like you got some snacks. Like that's how it is. It's
Hey,
just
bro,
like
I'll pay you back tomorrow. Let me just get the bag of chips real quick.
I did. I had bags of chips, bro, when I was in high school.
oh
I would carry the bag of chips like $1.50, $1.50.
oh you would sell
I
them.
would sell at school.
Dude.
I remember I make like $150 a day or more.
What?
No, honestly, you would make bank.
And like back then in high school, if you go to my bedroom, bro, stacks of chips, bro.
But when the CRA pulls up,
No, actually, yeah.
Just bribe them, bro.
They did
bribe 'em.
actually one time.
Ain't
Whitmire
no for
caught me
real to
up.
buy them stuff.
He bought some off of you?
Whitmire, I'm sorry, I almost
No, he
ruined your
took 'em.
Oh,
career.
he took him.
Like,
hey,
talk
Wilmar,
about
you want some chips, bro?
Whitmire.
Oh yeah,
Dad.
bro. Let me get the bag.
Todd the God? What?
Todd,
Todd.
dude,
We even came up with that. Todd the God.
Oh my
Wait,
god.
is
He
this
was
the principal at Pitt?
The principal
Yeah,
at
he was.
Pittsburgh High School.
Oh,
So,
the grace of God.
That'd agree. For him.
so I'm walking down the hallway, and I got my gym bag and I got my chips bag, right? So I got 2 bags, and I usually like put them all on one side.
Oh.
And he's like, "Hey, why you counting money?" And I was like, "Oh." And I was like, "Oh, it's just my allowance, you know, my allowance, right?" And he's like, "What's in your bag?" And like, I was quick with it. I pulled out my wrestling gear, like I just my wrestling stuff, and like he didn't see I had like another bag under it, and I was like, "Yo, we might as well confiscate my chips."
So you lied.
You were
So I
slick
lied,
about
bro.
it.
So you lied.
I mean,
It says in the word
It
not
was,
to lie.
it was before he was
Bro.
saved, guys. It's
I
okay.
wasn't
It's okay,
surprised,
yeah.
bro.
Why aren't
But
they?
I was
yeah.
cheesed up.
They don't support young entrepreneurs.
I
Or
know.
what?
They don't support them. They're like, "Don't sell the
Young hot
chips."
Cheeto.
They don't
sellers.
support small businesses, bro. I swear.
Oh my
Small
god.
businesses, bro.
Do they know how many Cheeto girls are in the pit? No, I'm just
No, I was one of those Cheetos girls. Like that was my breakfast.
All right,
It
let
was,
me-
like with
yeah.
cream cheese. Like,
Oh, that's hella
Oh,
smack.
yeah.
Not gonna lie,
That-
dude.
that
All
was
right.
my breakfast.
All right, just for the sake of context, I'm gonna define what a Cheeto girl is. If you guys don't know what a Cheeto girl is, so a Cheeto girl is it's like 6 a.m. Imagine waking up for school at 6 a.m. and they crack open the how it goes like it goes. And they
period, bro. The
first
10
period
minutes.
first period of class, they pop some
Hot
Cheetos,
Cheetos,
in
bro.
their mouth, and they're eating hot Cheetos for breakfast. Like,
And a
why are
big
you
old
eating hot Cheetos for
Arizona.
breakfast?
And then they
You know,
always,
the big Arizona.
And
they always
hey,
call their best friend,
And
bro.
then they're like, "Best friend, you want some?" And she gets a napkin, right?
Yeah.
She's like, I got you.
And they gotta.
You want some?
No, and then like when they're about to end the period, like the class period, they like get their lotion out and they're like this.
Like she didn't just have Cheeto fingers.
Oh, they're
And then they got
Like,
that like spritz.
and then there's always that pink perfume, bro. The Victoria's
God.
Secret.
and then they do the little.
Bro, I know.
Wow.
And then they walk up on the chair like nothing, just throw their bag on the back.
And then I come in right at the door like, "Hey, you ran out of chips?"
Oh, yeah,
And
you
I'm
always
like, "I'm
got
gonna need some for second period."
You need a little refill.
No, it was Angelo's. It was like Angelo's. They had. Is that what it's
yeah.
called? Right?
Yeah,
Angelo's.
I mean,
Right.
at
With
the
the
time,
cheese, with the nacho cheese. Oh my god.
Oh, that was so smart.
lucky for me,
And
we
you're
had a
bored?
closed campus.
Oh yeah.
We had a closed campus, so everybody needed them chips.
No.
You couldn't leave school, right?
I left school for those, and I would come back.
Yeah, but like most kids, like you knew they had security at the door, so you had to get the chips from the inside.
That's where Marcus came in.
That's right. I was like, "Yeah, help me, Jesus."
Yeah, now people just leave and go to the corner store. That's how they do. Or like they go, no, there's this like taqueria.
You get the one in
The one that has like mariscos like
yes.
on the thing, yeah.
I know.
In front of the soccer
it
field.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, like they'll legit
Oh, we know
like,
that shop.
Bro, I don't know. They
I
be
know the
selling,
owners there.
they be selling burritos to like any random kid that pulls up. Like, bro,
For
like
real.
tell them to go back to school.
Hey, they're making their money. They're
Hey,
not
this
to go
is
back to
business.
school.
Support small businesses.
Not even Angelo tells you to go back to school.
No, they all they care about is money.
Hey, you want some fries? You want some chicken fingers or whatever?
Yeah, but we don't do school here, right, guys?
like, you want to drink with that?
We never do school here, right?
Negative. I
Hey,
definitely
play crickets,
did
JC.
ditch school.
For crickets.
Wait, going back to school, you're graduating this year, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Hey.
Scared and excited, honestly. I mean, I'm excited because like I'm finally about to leave, you know.
Welcome
Just
to
saying.
the
Yo, you gotta see him.
hey,
You're gonna
no.
see him serving in Santa Cruz.
Hey, nah. Berkeley, bro, Berkeley.
Hey.
Following his brother's footsteps.
Berkeley boys.
Honestly, when,
Generaciones.
Nah, but honestly, like I'm like scared at the same time. Like I'm excited because like it's a whole new chapter, you know, like, and I feel like I'm on the path that like God has called me to, like, and it's exciting, but at the same time, it's like mad scary, bro. Like you're just like, what am I gonna do with my life? How is this gonna go?
Right.
How are we gonna make this work? Because like honestly, like when it comes to school wise, I kind of suck at math. Like if Ms. Garcia's watching this, you know that's true. Like,
Bro, but you got Jeremy though.
well, that's
And JC.
Jeremy's Jeremy, bro.
You have a
JC's
private
JC.
tutor.
Yeah, you have a private tutor.
Anyways.
He's your brother.
Anyways, but like I'm kind of like not to go off topic, but I'm not very good at math. But like at the same time, like I'm just like, you know what, like God, if this is where you want me to be, like I know like we're gonna make this work out, and I know that you're gonna provide a way, you're gonna provide the strength, you're gonna provide the ability to be disciplined so that I can succeed. You know, this is what you have called me to be. This is where you have called me to like speak out and, you know, be a living testimony. Yeah. Then you're going to make this work somehow, some way. I don't know how, but you'll move, because literally this whole high school high school experience has been a testament to that. Because a lot of times I would show up to tests and like, obviously like I would study, but like before, like right on the test, like I would forget everything.
Me.
Oh, yeah.
Everything.
Literally me.
I would forget everything.
Anxiety would just kick in.
Quiz
I'm
night.
like, nope.
And then I would just pray and
Shout out
like
to JC.
I would still pass. Like I would still pass the class. I would pass the exam and I would still do good. And like that's just God right there. That's God. Like that's not me. Like ain't no way that was me at this point.
You know what I would do when I would take tests? I would read, right? Every single one and do the ones that I knew first. But best believe I got nothing done. I was like, oh, let's start with number 1 again. Yeah, it was.
Like,
I'm not it.
I would have a little cheat sheet right here, bro. Like a little post-it note right here.
This one was
No, you know what you do? You know what you do? You just look over. You know, you look over.
Nah,
Other people.
you look over your teacher, look and just pull out the answer sheet. Just like,
All right.
just start
So
praying
I'm
like
gonna
a
tell you guys
CNA.
a little like some of my friends that were girls, they would wear shorts and they would go like this and they have all the answers on their legs.
What?
I'm not saying any names just for confidentiality.
I feel like anybody could do that though.
Yeah, it
You
was
know?
just like,
or like even on your hand, it's just like just wear long.
imagine a guy doing that. Yeah,
like
But going back to Jacob, we're getting ready to wrap up too.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm the oldest one in the room. 23 years old. Thank you, Jesus,
You
for my life.
old.
I'm old, right? I'm getting old.
he's not that old.
I'm getting I'm transitioning right to that like almost the 30s one day. But I mean, one thing that I can attest like after high school is that like, you know, like God's always had my back, you know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you might be confused, like, oh, I don't know if this is for me, but like God gives you that free will, right, to choose that path, like career wise, and like I feel like He'll back you up. And in the moment that He wants you to do something else, like you'll know, because like you'll have that transition in your life.
Yeah.
And like I'll say thank you to God. Like I've never had like, you know, a necessity like that He hasn't fulfilled outside of those years after high school, and to this day He's always provided. So if you're young and you're getting ready to graduate and you're worried about, you know, oh, what am I gonna do with my life?
God's got your back.
God's got your back.
For
Give
real.
it up to
He
God.
takes control.
You know, if it's a career, if it's some sort of trade you want to do, just do it. As long as you put God in the center of your life, He's gonna have your back.
God sees your heart. He knows your desires.
He does. But yeah, I mean, let's go ahead and wrap this up. That was really good conversation. Thank you,
Alrighty.
Joel, Nehemiah. Thank you guys for coming on the podcast all the way
Thanks for
from
having
LA, and they will be going back in the
City
end of the
boys.
summer. So we might have you guys back on other podcasts.
Yeah.
The summer podcast.
Tell us about your next semester.
But yeah, you wanna pray us out, Joel?
I'll pray you guys out.
Let's pray out this podcast.
All right, Father, we thank you, Lord, for each and every single viewer, God. We thank you, Lord, for all the newer subscribers, God, and all the ones that are just like, hey, let me subscribe to this YouTube channel. Like, I just need you, God. I just pray that you meet those people where they're at, Lord. I just pray that this Youth Uprise Project, God, can impact the nations, God, that we might be starting little right now, God, but you see those little seeds that we're planting, God, and eventually they will, I don't know how to say that word, but like, they will grow, God. But I just pray that everybody in this group, God, pray that you give them strength, Lord. Pray that everybody that's running the camera, God, everybody who's doing the behind the scenes, Lord, and on this podcast, God, I pray that you give them strength, Lord. And I just pray that you just guide us like throughout this journey, Lord, that it's a long journey that we're going to take, Lord, but we trust you, God. We love you, Lord, and we pray that you continue just to like reveal to us like your mysteries. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Hey guys, don't forget to like,
Subscribe and like this video.
And also, just to mention, all this stuff, costs money to run. If God puts it in your heart to donate to Yup, go ahead and check out youthupriseproject.org. Just check out what we're about, see what we're doing, and if God puts it in your heart, feel free to give. Thank you guys.
Have a great day.
Have a great day.
Adios.